Hey folks, so it looks like we're maybe safe for a little while, safer than usual to talk about AR-15s. So we're going to do just that today. Specifically, I'm going to talk about a company called EOTECH. It makes the holographic sight you see here. And EOTECH had some problems. They were involved in a lawsuit around 2015, 2016, something like that, for problems with military models that were apparently fielded with them knowing there were issues, and that included sight drift, problems with managing temperature variances, some other stuff. The problems I'm talking about had nothing to do with that. This happened all before and after and didn't include that model. And I just like this story because they really went to bat for me, for my team. And among other things, that's what's made me loyal to them. So the story is I did 15 years on SWAT, starting in, I think, 95, 96, something like that, 97 maybe. They issued us an AR-15 model that I didn't really care for. It's a long story. So I purchased this one. This is a Colt AR-15 A3. And this is back when Colt was the best you could get. This rifle is bone stock on the inside. I've never replaced anything, and it has tens of thousands of rounds through it. I have no idea how many. And last time I checked the wear, it was sitting at about a 3. So it's performed unbelievably well through a lot of crap. So I bought an EOTECH model 511. The 511 was one of their first ones, and if you're not familiar with EOTECH, it's a holographic sight. It's sort of like the windshield on a fighter plane. The N battery is one of the stupidest things ever designed. They're terrible. They're a 1.5 volt, about half the size of a AA, and they just suck. The shelf life is horrible. The service life is horrible. I've had the electronic range earmuffs that run on them, and then this one sight that I had, and the batteries are just a pain in the ass, so avoid anything that uses those. It made the device a little shorter, so the whole length was about like this. So I bought the 511 model that was manufactured in 2001. It ran flawlessly for, I think, a little over 10 years, until one day I was actually in a shooting using this rifle and the sight failed. Just went completely out. So I brought it in, looked at it. I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So I called EOTECH, and EOTECH said, yeah, that model, we recommend they're rebuilt and or inspected. I don't remember exactly what they said, every 10 years. Now, I don't know if I registered it. I had gotten married and moved, so who knows if my address was even the same. If they tried to send me a service bulletin, that stuff is always messed up. I was an armorer and never got any information on it, so I have no idea if they even tried to notify or not. So I sent mine in, and they replaced the electronics. And I got to looking, and we had 3 of them on the team that were owned by the county. And so I told EOTECH, hey, look, I need to send these 3 in. And they said, sure, no problem. They quoted me a price. And I sent them our purchasing paperwork. So to deal with Midland County, you had to be a vendor. And I sent the guys the paperwork. And the service tech called me and he goes, look, the amount of time it would take us to fill out the paperwork would cost us more money than we would ever make fixing your site. So their finance people just said, hell no, not going to happen. So he said, the guy said, your team is not going to go with bad gear. Just send me those sights and I'll fix them for free. And they did. So we had them done. This rifle continued to serve. I've used it on patrol. I've used it on SWAT. Like I said, dirt, rain, snow, you name it. The sight ran fine until that day. And I retired in August. And let's see, about 6 months ago, I packed it away in the safe because I was going out of town, and I just sort of left it there. And of course, you know, the news being what it is, I unpacked it and got it ready. Found out the sight wouldn't come on again. So we're at another 10-year mark. I called them up and they said, look, the 511 model, we don't even service that anymore. and send us your old one. We'll give you 50% off on the new one. So I got the 512. And conversation with them, the problems of the recoil and durability issues that have made them go off have supposedly been worked out. Now, the reason I picked this sight was back in 2000. I think it came out in the late 90s, but it was the hottest thing on the block. Most of the shooting we were doing was inside of 100 yards. In fact, most of it was inside of 50 yards. And I went to a school that was taught by Benny Cooley, fantastic rifle school. And Macy's upset at something. In that school, this sight was recommended, and I got a chance to use it. I was really pleased with it. Since then, plenty of other options have come out, but I have them. Keep it simple, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Sort of mantra with weapons that are work guns. So I've kept it. The bug's been worked out. Yeah, that's not the greatest service record, but they've taken care of me, and I'm sure you can expect that heretofore. Just if you're curious, if you use any kind of electronic sight, they're all prone to failure. They can all fail. Always have a backup sight system. You can also quick sight this thing. You can sight it through the iron sights if you need to. I added we had to have flashlights, so I used a GG&G 4-end, and that way you can just reach it and activate it with your thumb, and the 4-end's nice with body armor and just sort of as a brace in certain kinds of shooting. Aim point's kind of the thing now. The battery life is the biggest one. These have depending on which button you push to start it, it'll light for 4 hours or 8 hours, and my buddies that use the aim points now, so they just leave them on all the time and they last forever. So maybe they've been surpassed, but again, I'm invoking the old guy rule. I've used one for years and they run great. So that's why I love EOTECH. They really stood up for me and the team. Yeah, they've had their issues, but solid American company. They're sticking up with their products and serving us well. So we need more of that these days. And thanks for watching. Give us a like and a subscribe, and we'll do more weapon stuff if you like. Just kick around any ideas you got. We got a few things coming up. Got a really cool guest. So cheers. Thanks for watching, folks.